Good afternoon, thanks so much for joining me today. So as you've seen from the thumbnail and title, today I'm going to be discussing Green Butterfly from Byron. If you are in need of the toilet, maybe go now, because I've got my tank right behind me, my fish tank, and I don't know if you can hear it. I can certainly hear it in my ear. The water sound is quite loud, it's quite trickly, and it's just a pre-warning, a bit of consideration in case you were, on the edge. We're not here for that. Let's talk about Green Butterfly from Byron. So Green Butterfly was launched last year in 2022. As soon as I saw images of the bottle and heard the concept behind the design of the bottle and all the launch photography and ideas, I got very interested in this fragrance. I've mentioned on a few other videos, I'm very visual, I get very swept away with anything that looks slightly fantasy and whimsical. This one was absolutely no exception. Before we get into my thoughts on the fragrance, let me show you the bottle and a little bit of the backstory. It only arrived today, so this is a kind of first impressions, although I have obviously already unboxed it, I have already sprayed it. I've only been experiencing it in the last couple of hours, so it is pretty new, but I do have some thoughts. I think I've got a pretty good idea of how I feel about it. Obviously, I'll have a much better understanding once I've worn the fragrance a few times. So here we have this very pretty bottle. I love the colour. It's a really stunning, bright green glass. The glass is the green. I don't think the juice is. There is a very adorable, very simple outline of a gold butterfly on the back, and it's in the standard stock bottle that all the other Byron fragrances come in. Green sheath. I already sheathed it ready for the video because once you get this off, you don't want to have to put it back on again. It's very tight over the box and it's a nightmare trying to get on and off, so I've left it off just for ease. So Green Butterfly is a limited edition. I think there are 2,500 bottles that have been made. My one is 121. I'm guessing there are quite a few still available, although I did buy mine from Luxeparfum, not Byron, so I don't know what numbers were distributed to different outlets. Now, aside from how mesmerized I am by the prettiness of the bottle, the concept of this design and the story behind it is just very, very me. The magical journey of the green butterfly that flits between dream and reality. There's a lot more to the idyllic, very whimsical backstory. I won't go into it all. I'll copy it on the screen so you can have a look. Having now smelt the fragrance and got an understanding for it, I don't think it necessarily matches the idea of a butterfly, which is why I'm not going to read into it too much. Normally when I see a beautiful story behind a fragrance, that's what I'm swept away with and that's what I'll associate the scent with. But on this occasion, despite how green the bottle is and how you've got that beautiful butterfly, I just don't associate that imagery. One word they do mention in the backstory is the word fragile. I think fragile is definitely a word you can use literally when describing this fragrance. But a fragrance that's been designed for a whimsical heart that flits between dream and reality. This is something I had to check out. It's very difficult to get a sample. I haven't obviously been able to get a sample, hence why I've had to blind buy this fragrance. It is a blind buy. It's just based on the few reviews that I've read, very few on YouTube and a handful on Fragrantica. I got a rough idea of what I was getting into. With that being said, let's get on with what Green Butterfly smells like. I'm going to reapply and get the opening scent. And the opening I do really enjoy. I really, really love the opening. So straight away, I'm getting a really sweet, soapy, almost fruity feeling. The accords, we're looking at powdery, woody, musky aldehydes. Yep, woody is something that's mentioned a lot. I don't personally get any woodiness from this. Now obviously we all smell different things, it's all subjective. I don't get anything woody from this. Top notes: Irish chocolate, citruses, orange blossom. Mid notes we have aldehydes, suede, white musk, jasmine and vanilla. Base notes we have sandalwood, vetiver, patchouli and exotic woods. So the entire base is made up of different types of wood. But I'm not going to talk about any woods because I don't personally smell them. That's not what I get from this. The opening, I could say, it seems fruity. I don't know why it does. Well, actually no, there are citruses. Sorry, there are citruses, but it's not a citric sort of smell that I'm getting. I'm getting a pear. I'm getting a very light, powdery pear. Obviously this is a powdery fragrance based on what I've said about being a powdery accord. And if you look at any reviews on Fragrantica, people are saying it is very powdery, very soapy, simple, Someone did actually mention baby lotion, baby powder. I wouldn't agree with that personally. I definitely get powderiness from it. Very gentle, delicate, soft sweetness, which I think must be the vanilla or the chocolate. I can't tell the vanilla and chocolate apart. One thing I notice as well is that there really is no aldehydes in the opening. The iris starts to come through. And actually, moving on to the base, I would personally write this out as the base being iris and aldehydes. We'll get to that, but that's how I would place them. Do I get orange blossom? Maybe. Picking it out, I can smell something because of this light, fluffy nature and that fruitiness. There's something that you could almost say was orange blossomy, but it's very delicate. And that's all in the beginning. It's never heavy. There's no weight to it. And that is fruity, citrus nuances give a bit of brightness. If I dig my nose into my skin, there's a different sort of smell. Obviously, your sillage and what's on your skin can be very, very different. Things that leave your skin and flutter into the air aren't necessarily what you smell off the skin. And I really enjoy smelling this close up from my skin. I can pick out an awful lot. I quite enjoy doing that. I love the powdery feeling from this. It's not heavy and it's not overly irisy. It's not that typically heavy iris. To me, it's more like a bakery powdery, like flour, F-L-O-U-R, flour. It's because you've got the sweetness of the vanilla and chocolate, very light, very, 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 very subtle. But it's a sweet, powdery flour. And it's interesting, enjoyable, because you've got that little lift and brightness from the fruity nuances. All very subtle, like really subtle. I'm really picking it apart and over-analysing. But that's what I get on the skin. Now, as you move on through the duration of the scent, that's where I start to pick up the aldehydes and the heavier iris. That's where I'm left with the scent. So far of me experiencing it today, the last few hours, in the air around me, I start to pick up more of this iris and aldehydes, which is still really nice. I can't compare the aldehyde side of things to anything like Chanel. Like, I haven't smelled enough Chanels to do that, or anything else that's got heavy aldehydes. And I think if I'd have smelt this a few years ago, I probably wouldn't have liked it. I was very, very focused on rose and sweet type of fragrances. But I have come to appreciate aldehydes. I do have fragrances with them in, and I think this is done rather nicely. They're not heavy, they do hum in the air. They do sit up the top, humming above everything else. Every now and again, I'll get a little waft of something I think is like mushroom, but not mould, like a brand new white surfaced mushroom. Very light, very delicate. And there is an ethereal feel from the iris, the powderiness and the sweetness. The aldehydes, I think, stop it being too ethereal, because I think aldehydes, they put a waxy surface on a perfume. They're supposed to brighten it. I guess it depends on your skin. For me, it's not really brightening it exactly. There is a lift, but it's like a waxy lift. I don't know if I can describe aldehydes how I smell them. And that's what you're left with, really. In the sillage, I get more of an aldehyde iris soapy feel. Between the aldehyde and the iris, there's a sort of soapy feeling from it. And I don't think about a butterfly anymore. I did probably in the beginning, but as I keep smelling it in the air around me, I just don't think of a green butterfly. There's nothing green, by the way. There's nothing green at all about this scent. Not to me. I think of a little dove soap with wings. Kind of flapping around the sky. No, it's not that soapy. Not really. It's just a little bit between the notes. It's clean. I mean, it's a very clean scent. Not crisp, but very clean, soft, delicate scent with a soapy aura. Tiny bit of sweetness to keep it not too bland. Very versatile. It's very simple. Very, very simple, really. And I think you could wear this for any occasion. I'm testing it out today. It is a heat wave again, which made me nervous to actually spray it, but I'm fine with it. I do think I'm really enjoying it. I like just how uncomplicated it is. And it kind of smells white, you know. It smells like a translucent white, slightly soapy, powdery dusting of something that's very fragile and delicate, I guess like a little butterfly, more like a little butterfly soap with wings. I hope that helps anybody who is interested in this fragrance and can't get a sample. This is how it is on me, at least. I think there's probably a lot of scents out there that are aldehydic maybe, or a bit vintage, that have an element of this about them. But this is so simple. There's nothing else I think I've smelt that's like it. You could almost, someone who wants more from it could say that there's notes missing, or there's a main personality, or its soul is missing, because it is, like I say, it's like the outer skirts of another scent almost, because it's so delicate and, you know, muted. It's a muted scent. I personally like that. I don't like things overwhelming. I don't like things to be too bold or shouty or competing. This is just an aura. This is a delicate scent of an aura. And I'm enjoying it right now. I really hope I don't change my mind, because I know how fickle I can be. Right now, I'm actually really relieved. I'm really pleased with it. Let me show you the bottle again, because I'm talking away and it can get quite boring. Absolutely adore this bottle. I'm so pleased that I think I can keep hold of it and not have to sell this, because I'm really enjoying it so far. So that is my thoughts and feelings about Green Butterfly from Maison Byron. So thanks for joining me as always. I really hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know if you are interested in trying this scent, or if you've tried it. That is all from me. Thanks guys, over and out.